Can you make enough with rideshare driving or gig work to support yourself, or is this only a part-time, or is it a full-time gig that you really should look at another option for? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Tyler from the RideShare Guy. On today's episode, we're talking about how long people actually drive for and whether they're full-time or part-time, and if you can make an actual livable wage by driving for rideshare. So we put a brief poll out on our YouTube channel to actually get some people to reach out and give us some information. So out of that, over 70% of the people that responded back drive full time. Now, what I'm considering full time are those that drive 30 or more hours per week. So if they drive even 4 or 5 days a week, some of them still drove part time because they only drove a few days a week. But anyone who drove over 30 hours a week, I'm gonna consider a full-time rideshare driver. I know some people are doing 30 hours rideshare driving and it's their part-time gig, they have another one, but for what we're talking about, we're gonna consider anyone driving over 30 hours as a full-time worker. So is it possible to get a livable wage with this? So in our poll, there are a lot less people that are doing this part-time, but there's gonna be a lot of people that are doing this part-time. Now, those are people that are doing it 30 or less hours. They may be doing it 4 or 5 days a week, but typically they're driving for a few hours. We had one person that they even said that they drop their children off at school and then they go drive for a few hours every single day just to make a little bit of money for gas to get their kids to and from school. So they're not driving very much, maybe 2 hours at a time. And so they're considered part-time and it's covering their expenses. Now there's others, the majority that reached out, they were driving for full-time, and we got pay ranges of anywhere from $10 per hour all the way up to $40 an hour. Now we have no way of verifying any of that, but that's what they told us that they were making. So I know in my area, I'm able to make about $25 an hour. Sometimes I can make up to $30 an hour just doing food delivery by multi-apping. But a lot of these drivers, depending on where they're driving at, they're making as little as $10 an hour. They say that they accept every single request. And we've talked about in the past about accepting every single request. If we want to accept everyone or allow our acceptance rate to go down, definitely want to check that video out if you haven't already to help you see and appreciate the need to let your acceptance rate go down to get your income to come up. But we're seeing that price range, but a good middle was around $20 an hour. So say you're making $20 an hour as a rideshare driver, you're driving 40 hours a week, that's $800 a week that you're bringing in. Is that enough to live on? Is that enough to take care of your needs? Short answer, yes and no. Some of us is going to be enough to cover all of our expenses. Some of us have expenses that are a lot low. But for the vast majority of people, that's going to be nowhere near enough to cover their regular expenses. Unfortunately, because of the cost of everything, the cost of housing, the cost of groceries, the cost of car maintenance, the cost of gas, everything has gone up. That's no longer a feasible amount of money to make to cover your expenses. But you're also going to find it difficult to find a job paying that amount, especially if you don't have a particular skill or something. So if it's more than you're going to make in a regular job, you may have to make it work. But that livable wage is going to be dependent upon what you're doing right now and the type of expenses that you have. One thing that came up a couple of times that I really liked and something that I've done in the past and how I feel about rideshare driving is that you have a set amount of money that you need to make for the week or the month. You pick a certain time frame and you drive until you make that amount of money. This gives you an incentive to drive longer on certain days, but it also gives you an incentive to get done, and it allows you to have a little mini vacation or a weekend or something like that. So for instance, say that you need to make $500 in a week and you start driving on Monday and you're gonna go every single day until you make that $500. Maybe you make that by Wednesday. Maybe you have to drive through the weekend to get to that $500. But if you're able to get to that amount of money that week and earlier in the week, that means you have several days off to recover and get back to it. The same is true with if you have a monthly expense. You say, I need to make $4,000 this month, and you drive every single day until you make that $4,000. And you can drive 12 hours, 14 hours a day. You could really, depending on if you're multi-apping, you could probably somehow squeeze in a 24-hour drive if you really wanted to. Not that we recommend that, that's very unsafe. Please don't do that. Please. But you could continue to drive until you made that $4,000. So that would allow you to drive a lot at the beginning of the month, and near the end of the month, when you have all your money, your income that you need to cover your expenses, you can just go home and relax. Now, I don't really particularly like that for long term because you never know how long it's going to be. You never know when it's going to be slow. So, okay, it takes me 2 weeks to get that money that month, this month, but next month it may take 5 weeks. And as you know, there's not 5 weeks in most months. So, what I'm saying is try to get a little bit ahead, and that way you don't have to worry about that livable wage and trying to get it the next month. So is it possible as a rideshare driver driving full-time to make a livable wage? Absolutely yes. You're definitely going to want to use tips and tricks to make as much as possible, such as multi-apping. If you're looking for a way to increase how much you're making, check out our courses on food delivery and rideshare driving that'll help you make as much money as possible in as little time as possible. But you definitely want to make sure that you're doing all that you can to increase how much money you're making in as short a time. So you absolutely can make a livable wage with rideshare driving, but you want to make sure that you're taking everything into consideration, that you're taking taxes, maintenance, gas, all of that into consideration, as well as if maybe it's better to get a regular job and do this part-time to make extra money. Whatever the case is with you, let us know. If you found this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. It helps out the channel. Please leave a comment letting us know, is this your full-time gig? Has it been your full-time gig in the past? Did it help you get to another job and to a livable wage? Is it helping you right now to pay something off while you're still working your full-time job? We'd really love to hear from you, and leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel because there's new episodes that come out every single week that help you find out how you can make as much money as possible in as little time as possible. And until next time, stay safe out there, everyone.